Today's review is on ABC's mockumentary sitcom, Abbott Elementary, which is currently in its third season. The show premiered on December 7th, 2021, and it takes place at a fictional, predominantly black school in Philadelphia. One of my subscribers, Nick I believe, asked me if I have seen the show, and I said no. But I started watching it last year in January in the middle of the second season. My mom said it's funny, and she's right. It's funny. And we enjoy watching it every Wednesday when the new episodes air. Then my dad started getting into it, and he loves it as well. Richard R. Abbott Elementary is a predominantly black public school where a documentary crew records the lives of teachers working in underfunded, mismanaged schools. Now let's take a look at the characters. Janine Teagues, a second grade teacher at Abbott who hopes to improve the lives of her students. Janine is optimistic and has a happy-go-lucky personality. During her teenage and college days, she was not popular, nor did she have friends besides her female friend Sahar. She is portrayed by Quinta Brunson, who is also the creator of the show. Quinta said her mother's 40-year career as a teacher inspired her to create the show, and the school is named after one of her elementary teachers, Joyce Abbott. And Quinta Brunson, she is so freaking cute. She is a real cutie in the face. She really is. Gregory Eddy, portrayed by Tyler James Williams. Yes, we're familiar of this face. We all remember him as the teenage version of Chris Rock on Everybody Hates Chris. Well, he has returned to star in another hit sitcom. And Tyler James Williams, man, he is skinny. I hope he alright. I hope he ain't sick. I'm not assuming he's sick, but I just know how skinny he is. I mean, I knew he was also skinny on Everybody Hates Chris, but I don't recall him being this skinny. He is Gregory, a first grade teacher who at first was interviewed to be principal and got it. Then Ava caught the superintendent cheating on his wife, so he named her principal. And Gregory ended up being a substitute teacher until he talked to the superintendent and became a full-time teacher. Gregory is level-headed, stoic, and is serious most of the time, but can have a sense of humor. He is also a bit of a perfectionist, but proactive. He has a crush on Janine, which you can't blame the guy. I believe that in the future, they will get together as an actual couple. I see it because these two just actually love being around each other. They just have that connection. Ava Coleman, the principal, and is portrayed by Janelle James. She is not good at her job but loves it as she tries to become a better principal. She has a thing for Gregory since she flirts with him, which annoys the crap out of Gregory. Ava, he doesn't want you because he's in love with Janine.
Your kids are...
My eyes are up here, Mr. Eddy.
I was expecting,
I've played out this very scenario in my head many times.
Ava bullies Janine as she makes jokes about her optimistic attitude and wardrobe. Poor Janine. I feel so bad for her when Ava does her wrong. But Janine and Ava are actually frenemies. So Ava is sometimes mean, but sometimes not so mean to Janine. She actually can be nice to Janine at times. Melissa Chimenti, a second grade teacher who was portrayed by Lisa Ann Walter. She was in the Parent Trap movie with Lindsay Lohan. Melissa comes from an Italian family from Brooklyn, which explains her New Yorkish accent. Boy, I tell you, Lisa Ann Walter, she is one hot redhead. Good Lord. And she's 60 years old. She does not look 60 at all. She looks great for her age. She has pretty eyes and she got a nice body too, I'll tell you what.
Both Melissa and myself are bold, ballsy, take no crap women and, powerful. All right, listen up, my little eagles. It's game time. Melissa being able to wear clothes that are form-fitting is not something Lisa would have done before I got this role. My generation grew up with a lot of body issues and self-loathing. Melissa doesn't have time for that. That's not who she is. And I'm also surrounded by some really powerful Black women on this show who are like, no, girl, you look great. All of that together has made me much more confident in myself, and I enjoyed all of my Christmas cookies. You're welcome.
That's right, girl. You tell them. You work it. Especially that great bod you got. Ooh, work it. That Janelle James, she's pretty cute herself. Jacob Hill, portrayed by Chris Perfetti. Jacob is an awkward homosexual but supportive history teacher. He is often picked on by his students and co-workers, especially when it comes to his looks and ethnicity, but he sees it as bonding. His students call him Mr. C because they see him as corny. Them kids aren't right. His students are not right for that. Barbara Howard, portrayed by Shirley Lee Ralph, who was Brandy's character Moesha's stepmom on Moesha. Barbara is the most seasoned and longest working teacher. All children, including her students, have respect for her. Not only are Lisa Ann Walter and Shirley Lee Ralph are friends on the show, but they're also good friends in real life. Lastly, Mr. Johnson, portrayed by William Stanford Davis. Mr. Johnson is the janitor and occasionally the substitute teacher. The show is so funny, especially the main characters like Gregory, Jacob, Ava, and Barbara. The show makes me think of Modern Family since both shows are presented in a mockumentary style, and the characters frequently speak directly to the camera in both shows. And just like in Modern Family, you have characters looking to the camera where they have funny facial expressions. It's hilarious, especially Gregory's. His facial expressions, especially when his eyes get all big, are so freaking funny. And it makes me think of his time on Everybody Hates Chris, how Chris' eyes would get all big and whatnot. Seeing the characters at Abbott Elementary with their facial expressions when they look into the camera is just, it's so funny. It makes me think of Modern Family because the characters in Modern Family did the exact same thing. That's why I think it would be cool if both shows had a crossover. Now, even though Modern Family has obviously ended, that doesn't mean they can't do a crossover. But then you're probably thinking, well, how are both shows supposed to have a crossover when the characters of Abbott all live in Philadelphia while the characters of Modern Family live in Los Angeles? Well, I'm thinking that it could be an Abbott Elementary crossover where the main characters, except for Mr. Johnson, they feel like they need a break. So they figure they go on vacation and they take their little vacay in Los Angeles and they end up running into some of the characters of Modern Family. But it would be so funny in one crossover episode to see both characters of Modern Family Abbott Elementary looking at the camera with funny facial expressions and seeing both characters from both shows in one crossover seen speaking directly to the camera like they're doing interviews. Is some of the people that were working on Modern Family, are some of them also working on Abbott Elementary? But that's all I have to say. This has been my review on Abbott Elementary. If you've seen the show, tell me your thoughts on the show. Do you find it funny? You know, what do you think of the main characters? Who's your favorites? Who's your funniest? And that's about it. See you later.
Jacob, you are corny sometimes. Yes.
No. I have Kendrick Lamar on vinyl, okay? Is that corny? Look, and the Samurai are not corny, okay? They performed at a Bernie Sanders rally without his permission.
And those things can be corny. Look, Jacob, at the end of the day, I'm corny. And at the beginning of the day, too. But I don't care as
Okay,
much.
but that is different because you are African American.
See, when you said African, that's corny. It just is. Look, you are a white teacher in a black school.
I am not Hillary Swank and Freedom Writers.
You are Hillary Swank in Freedom Writers. You are Michelle Pfeiffer in Dangerous Minds. You are Sandra Bullock
In Bird Box?
in The Blind Side.
Too far.
Too far, I know. I'm sorry about that. I know.